a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. One last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by 10th Man, Paul Hall, Flatzoid, Chocolate Sane, and Brian, together with a whole bunch of people in Discord. So welcome, one and all.
Happy Thursday, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Good morning, welcome.
Yo, yo.
Hello. Any signs of a physical geometric sphere edge horizon, formerly known as the Earth curve that block boats and buildings in the distance?
Not from Rosa Pizzeria in Queens.
It's a good
You
pizzeria.
can do demonstrations. No, because you can do demonstrations on a flat surface that shows the same observation.
Oh, what a coincidence, you know, Flatzoid. I've got one of those right here. Should we play that?
You can go ahead if you want.
It's on screen for the audience's benefit. Do you want to talk us through what it's
I
the one
promise
with Sply
I
Spark
promise I
Games
won't
one?
copyright strike you.
No, please don't. It's the one with your cheese grater.
Oh, the one where Sly says he's dipping down and then up again. I don't know.
Epic. Of course, we established in the pre-show that, of course, these tiles are curved.
Yeah. People don't build level floors. It's amazing.
It is. Every time there's an assertion of perspective, we seem to end up with an assertion that we've got incompetent floors all over the surface of our plane. Nevertheless, any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Sorry, just before we move on, I missed that what was just played. Could you just give me a rundown of what happened there?
Flatzoid is talking to you, my friend.
Sorry. Oh, sorry, Brian. Yeah. What's wrong?
What exactly happened there, flat side? Because I just missed it. I just had the Skype open and not the.
Oh no. Sly Spock makes a claim that if you check with a peephole and it's eye level, no matter the distance, the peephole will always stay at eye level, even the angular size changes. So I showed him that's impossible with angular size changing because the peephole is in a fixed angle. It's going to sink.
Yes. Yeah. It's going to appear to. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Thanks for playing that again, Nathan.
I was gonna play the other one. He's done two.
Yeah, I made another one showing level because they first known saying I wasn't on a level.
So I'm playing this one out. I know you can't see Flatzoid, but I've got you in your paint booth.
See, I'm a qualified spray painter.
Sweet booth, by the way. Big.
Well,
Look how much
that's
room
just
you've
the
got.
one. I've got another one that's bigger.
Have even that one. It's got loads of space.
Hurricane. Yeah, this one's small. The one on next door is even bigger. And for two in the next one.
There we go, Brian. Was that good enough for you, my friend?
Yeah, thank you, Nathan. Thanks, Flatside. Yeah, that you know that thing I showed, Nathan, with the when you make a parallel. Remember I showed with the laser beam, the laser appearing to drop. It's the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, perspective.
More or less.
Exactly the same thing.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, excellent. Thank you.
Angular
I
size.
have one other.
I was just going to give it a bit
sorry,
more of
mate.
an official title: angular size reduction over distance.
Yes, exactly.
Compression, yeah.
I have one other question though to do before you move on from that first question. Is our curve going up in front of our vision, blocking what we see in our horizontal, or is it falling away from our feet in all directions?
According to
the globers seem to have
the official rhetoric is that it's falling away from you. So every position on a sphere, a presupposed sphere Earth, is the top of that sphere. I.e., when you're drawing your line to the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth, you're at the top of that sphere and you're looking down. So the Earth is falling away from you at 8 inches per mile squared, according to the standard rhetoric. Now, how they depict it, how they draw it with the sagittor, may vary. It may have you tipping back on your ankles, but it doesn't change the fact that their assertions, by way of their presuppositions of gravity and their reified mathematics, would state that you're on the top looking down.
Right, it's only geometric, not optical.
Correct. Hey,
Yeah, and
Arwin, by the way.
is on your arc, not a curve.
Just to bring Brian's point back to Brian's point so he can carry on. So if there's an assertion that there's a hump between you and it, you're still looking down with a hump between you and the target. So here we go. This example here with National Geographic has the hump rising in front of you. But if you look, the way it's depicted, he's literally having to tip back on his ankles to account for the fact that he's not on the top of the sphere. The boat's on the top of the sphere. Well, every vantage point for measurement purposes assumes on a sphere Earth that you're at the top, unlike this depiction. Perfect timing from National Geographic.
Yeah, because what's funny is on the globe side, at least half, if not more than half, of their supposed globe observations show things actually coming up to block your horizontal vision. And then there's other supposed Earth curve observations where things seem to be sunken in the distance. So I just want to get clear what the hell they are actually talking about. But yeah.
The ones that know their rhetoric, and assuming they're not double speaking to get around some problem that's been posed, the ones who understand how the sphere Earth works would assert that you're stood on the top looking down and with the Earth falling away from you at 8 inches per mile squared when you presuppose the mathematics of a physical sphere edge horizon, formerly known as Earth curve, that only exists in the maths, cannot be seen, cannot be measured. We wouldn't expect to see it, according to the globe side.
Yeah. So, but it's still blocking things anyway.
No.
And sometimes that's in front of your horizontal view, according to them.
When they reify mathematics into a physical horizon that's non-physical, can't be seen, can't be measured, yes, it makes no sense, but yes.
Okay, I am totally up to date now and up to speed. Thank you.
Perfect.
Yeah, but therein lies their loss, because they had Earth curve, and now they are distancing themselves from Earth curve because of the black swan. So they're dead both ways.
That's
until they.
It's so hard.
Hold on, I heard a rumbling of an objection from Discord.
Hey, Chocolate.
Curve.
That's not true, though.
What's not true? You have to
actually happening is simply a differentiation between optical rules and geometric, not geometric, and physical solid manifestation. Simply because light refracts in air, and therefore light does not necessarily travel lines over long distances. And that's just true.
And?
Nothing more. There's nothing more to it.
How does this prove spherical Earth?
So does light
It doesn't.
No.
Nobody claimed it does.
Yeah, but there's claim
It's
that
it's just brought as evidence.
They do claim it does.
As evidence against the globe, which is fallacious.
Sorry, I just want to correct you.
Because
it is claimed. So have you never seen an Earth curve calculator where they assume a physical geometric sphere edge horizons blocking your boats and buildings in the distance? It's absolutely claimed. It's also got your optical effect worked into the maths with a presuppositional R at the rate of 7/6 of that presupposed radius. That's their claim to be optical effect. It's not, it's maths. But no, you're wrong. It is absolutely claimed.
no,
So you haven't ever seen an Earth curve calculator then?
I did.
Well, that's your claim. Therein lies your claim. Physical Earth curve edge obstruction called the horizon. That's your claim.
They do not consider.
Why are you mumbling through me? Shut up. That's your claim. You're wrong. You fundy fuckwits claim the Earth's a sphere with Earth curve maths that claims a physical sphere edge horizon that we're simultaneously told by your side cannot be seen, doesn't exist, only exists in the maths, and we wouldn't expect to see it. It's claim you make. Globehead. It's just wrong. We haven't got a physical sphere edge blocking boats and buildings. And the optical effect is 7/6R, non-optical, mathematical. So you're wrong.
No.
What do you mean no?
That's your misconstruction of it.
Oh, my misconstruction of an Earth curve calculator. No, not mine. Yours, Fundy. Your maths. Your claim. Not mine. Not my misapprehension. No. An Earth curve maths that claims a physical obstruction.
It's not mine.
Don't talk through me, Fundy. Don't talk through me. Don't talk through me, you Fundy. No, there is a claim. You are incorrect. Earth curve maths claims a physical obstruction. It's called Earth curve, formerly known as a geometric horizon based on R. Don't talk through me while I berate your fundamentalist zealot belief that you're on a sphere. You're not. We've debunked the R value with the black swan. Don't talk through me. What is your problem? What's your malfunction, fundamentalist zealot? Just shut up. You're being told that your religion in a sphere is wrong. You claim it's not a claim. It is. You claim it.
Nathan, you do not believe what you're spouting here, right?
It's not a belief. I'm talking about your maths, you stupid idiot.
You do not believe what you're saying.
It's not a belief. I'm talking about your maths that you claim. It's nothing to do with my beliefs.
Not believe what you're...
Can you stop talking about my beliefs?
People here.
Hello, moron.
Right?
Hello? It's not my belief. It's a mathematical
That's your only
formula.
Response, calling me a moron?
Yeah, you aren't listening, moron. It's not a belief. It's your maths, your claim that you're denying.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, you've got a belief in a sphere Earth while Arwen now starts to rumpus me. You've got a belief and a claim that the horizon's physical and blocks stuff. That makes you a moron when you deny the claim and seem to superimpose my belief onto your claim. Moron.
So, the statement was because of the black swan observation, people distance themselves from physical Earth, from the Earth physically curving. And I said, no, that's not what's happening. What's happening in that discussion is a differentiation between discussing refraction and the fact that light does not travel in a straight line anymore in that case. And
we heard all this. We heard.
The physical
Sorry, do you think I need to parrot off the same shit twice? I heard. And we discussed it. I said, what does this prove? Nothing was your response.
Do with the Earth curve calculators, because obviously you cannot apply the Earth curve calculator to the black swan observations. Obviously, there is a significant refraction happening in either case. In any case, you see the grains of oil rigs all...
Covered this as well. You weren't listening. You're a moron. Your optical effect is 7/6R. Your refraction is mathematical. You ignored that too. You're a moron. You just don't listen.
Picture. And
you're not
therefore
listening.
You cannot use the Earth curve calculators that use straight lines for that approximate light traveling in straight lines.
No, they're measuring geometry. You stupid fuckwit. Don't you know how the geometric maths works in that Earth curve calculator? You seem to be telling me that it's not accounting for light. It's geometric, you stupid idiot. Sod all to do with light. The fact that you superimpose 7/6R and call it optical effects doesn't mean that your mathematics of geometry doesn't require a straight line to do geometry. You're just a fuckwit.
To get money.
Sorry, what are you babbling through me about? You're not listening to a single word I respond to you with. You're just talking constantly in the Discord server. So you think that I won't be heard? No, moron. While I'm talking, I'll shut you up. And I'll carry on pummeling your nonsense assertion that there isn't a claim of sphere Earth and somehow geometry has anything to do with optical effects and somehow doesn't need straight lines. Yeah, it does.
No. Need, it's just the fact that you cannot apply to the path of light if the path of light is not straight.
What are you babbling about? Geometry requires a tangent line that's straight. Your maths is geometric. Sorry, don't talk through me. Hello, you fundy spastic. When I talk, shut up. geometry requires a tangent.
So what?
So your maths is geometric, you unbelievable moron.
So what?
So you haven't got a straight line. You're telling me how it's not straight. So you can't apply geometry.
Yeah, if the light doesn't travel in a straight line,
then you can't do geometry and apply a tangent. Your maths has a tangent, you stupid idiot.
Nathan, it's as easy as that. If the light doesn't travel in a straight line,
then you can't apply a tangent. So you haven't got a tangent line to derive r.
Yeah, you see the horizon.
Yeah, and it's not physical. You can't derive tangent lines to it, according to you, because everything's bent.
It's as easy as that. If the light doesn't travel in a straight,
then you can't apply a tangent. Therefore, can't apply geometry and assert that geometry is what's blocking boats and buildings at the physical horizon you've derived with the r value by acquiring it with a tangent.
Nathan, you can still draw it.
Oh, you can still draw it? Sorry, how do you draw a straight line if it's all bent?
You can still draw a tangent. It's just not the
a tangent is straight, you moron. You can draw a tangent, but it's not straight. Then it's not a tangent. You are mathematically illiterate. You don't seem to understand what a tangent is.
Okay, so.
Okay, acknowledge that you telling me you can draw a tangent, it just won't be straight. It's absurd!
If the light doesn't travel...
Yo, moron. You've just told me that you can draw a tangent, but it won't be straight. That's moronic.
No, that's not what I'm saying. If then all that happens is the horizon
clue what he's talking about.
Where the geometric horizon, which is
yeah, I can talk through you too, you stupid spastic. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just muttering nonsense now.
Okay, so if light doesn't travel in a straight line,
then you can't derive a tangent and do geometry to assert physical geometry's blocking things.
Okay, so if
not okay. The demolition of your fundy belief in a sphere Earth based on geometry and tangent lines!
Nathan.
Why'd you keep saying my name every time I rape you?
Nathan.
Yeah, you just keep saying my name while I rape you. Yeah, you're being raped.
Yeah, because you're not letting me finish any sentence.
You keep telling me how you can't get a straight line, and your model requires one.
You keep interrupting me.
You haven't shut up.
Of my sentence. You begin to interrupt.
You're just stuttering like a bitch, right? You're telling me how you can't derive a tangent. Bye-bye tangential-based geometry that asserts physical sphere edge horizon. Bye-bye. No tangent to derive that r.
If
yes, stutter.
Line,
stutter.
If light doesn't travel in a straight line,
then you don't have a tangent. Then you don't have a tangent.
Then all that.
Then you do not have a tangent.
Interrupting me.
Yeah, because you don't have a tangent. You need one for your geometry, you stupid idiot. You just keep whistling past it.
Finish one sentence.
Yeah, if you don't have a straight line, that's where your argument ends because you require one.
No.
Yeah, geometry requires a tangent. But you get angry about it for me, you little bitch. Yeah? Well, I tell you that you need one for geometry.
Damn it.
Stop swearing.
Okay, so chill out, dude. Chill out. Just because your globe's dying in a horrible, painful pool of blood doesn't mean that you have to babble on about me not letting you speak when I keep pointing out that when you assert you can't draw a straight line to the horizon, then you can't draw a straight line. That'd be a tangent, mate.
Exactly.
So you can't do geometry. It requires tangent lines. You stupid moron. How many times have I got to tell these fundies that if you haven't got a straight line, then you haven't got a straight line? And what is a tangent? Oh, it's a straight line.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you haven't got one, have you? You keep telling me how it's bent.
You see what that means? That
yeah, it means your globe's dead. That's what it means, you stupid moron. Your model is based in geometry. Hello? That's what it means.
It means one thing only.
Yeah, globe dead. No geometry. Al-Biruni did not derive an R value. You can't derive an hour value. You wouldn't expect to see a geometric horizon. The geometric horizon only exists in maths, and according to you, all lines to it are bent.
And on top of that, your terrestrial refraction is a begging the question fallacy, so you're dead on all accounts, my friend. Sorry.
May I finish one sentence, please?
Sorry, is that all you've got to moan about not finishing a sentence? Your first sentence is all lines to the horizon are bent. That's your assertion. Therefore, no tangent line. So you think I'm going to stop interrupting you at the point that you pummel your own argument when your model's geometric and needs tangent lines? You think I'm going to let you waffle on beyond that? Because that's what crucifies your argument. So no, every time you say all lines to it are bent, I'll say that's the death of your model. And you can think that you can fucking waffle through every word of it and it'll be effective. It won't be, Pickle Rick.
Okay, so no, it does not need a straight tangent line.
Oh, right, geometry doesn't need tangents, you fucking moron. Yeah, it does. You are stupid. If you think geometry doesn't need tangents, you're stupid.
It
needs a tangent to do geometry. You're just wrong.
Does not need... The model does not need straight lines.
Yeah, it does. It's a geometric model, you stupid idiot. Oh, my geometric model doesn't need a tangent. Why the hell would it be called geometric then? Answer me, you stupid globehead. Why would it be called a geometric model if it doesn't need tangents?
Exactly.
Not exactly. Why would you call it geometric if it doesn't need tangents? Exactly. That was a closed yes or no question, was it?
What geometric are you talking about?
Yeah, your globe belief, you stupid idiot. That's what geometric. Your bloody globe belief. That's what geometric.
It's not.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, your globe belief's geometric. It's based on a geometric value of R. Yeah, your model's based on R. That curve maths, that's based on R. Yeah, that R that we debunked with the black swan. Yeah, that's all geometric, you stupid idiot.
Yeah, and where does it say that it needs to be a straight?
That's what geometry is!
It's a straight line.
Basic geometry, which you obviously did not get in school.
That's the end of him.
Rick.
Hey, bye-bye, Pickle Rick. You don't even understand what basic geometry is, so sod off. Get out. You're a stupid moron. You don't even understand what geometry is if you're asking why he needs a tangent. You're a stupid moron.
Nathan, his assertion was that you're lying to everybody and you're doing it for money. He's a freaking moron.
Yeah, a moron who doesn't understand that geometry requires tangents is claiming that I'm a liar deceiving people for money. Oh, right. Smash the super chat.
And he doesn't need a straight line except for his radius.
No, I don't think he even gets to that point of realizing that. He just doesn't understand what geometry is at all. And he's just seeing this globe and then sloppily trying to reify it into reality, but he doesn't understand geometry, or he wouldn't have made those statements. It's really stupid.
Then he brought up the oil rigs being all blurry, and we're not talking about the oil rigs in the Black Swan, correct?
They're just demarcating the distance.
He's just trying to insert refraction as the reason why we don't see the globe. It's the usual nonsense, you know. So it's back to not being able to prove. The whole point of the Black Swan is we disprove R, and then they try and insert refraction, terrestrial refraction, which is based on their R. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he doesn't even understand the argument.
We know what you mean.
Nathan.
No, we know what you mean, and that was beautiful. That should be a little segment you cut out, Nathan, because this guy had convenient amnesia after you made him stick to the geometry he's got to stick to, because he said it's straight, but then light bends, and then you said, well, then you can't have it because you can never measure it. He didn't even know what the apparent horizon was, a non-physical.
Yeah, it needs to be physical.
Swearing.
Needs to be physical and capable of being measured with a tangent. That's the assertion that we're on a sphere. That's the essence of their assertion that we're on a globe.
It's the same with the lack of Earth-based Coriolis. They fight against the deviation. Now they fight against this. They just are losing it.
Right, let's move on.
I was waiting for you. Sorry.
Go on. If you've got something else to add before we go on to axial rotation.
I was just saying, I was waiting for Kent to come in and start speaking about Andrew Thomas Young doing all these measurements over a flat plane.
I think I've used my dollar there a few times, huh?
I don't mind. Feel free, 10th man.
Yeah, well, Andrew Thomas Young, the so-called expert on their side, says in his study of refraction of light that all of his calculations were based on a plane. In order to make it work on a sphere, you have to take geometrical considerations. So go to this page, and then if you're more interested in detail, go to this other page. So basically what he's saying is it's just a thought experiment. It's a Jedi mind trick, but we have a way of making straight curved if you go to another page. And let me reify it for you.
Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
No.
Nope.
No.
But as 10th man correctly identified, just like with the argument we just had about Earth curvature, i.e. you need to see it, it needs to be physical, but we can't see it, it only exists in the maths, the same principle of bait and switch and messing people around mentally is done with Coriolis effect. There's a claim, Earth spins. The claim proof is a 15 degrees an hour deviation, as Earth rotates underneath other things, making them seem to drift away from you. In reality, it's you drifting away from them because you're on a turning Earth, according to the claim that we're on a sphere Earth that spins. Now, in reality, whenever we point out that nothing is deviating, nothing's drifting at 15 degrees an hour away from you, because if it did, it would shorten flight times. You observe the plane seem to drift because Earth's turning underneath it? Well, that would mean Earth's turning underneath the plane, and it would shorten the flight times when travelling west. It doesn't. So we end up in a cluster mess of them obfuscating that fact that they don't have 15 degrees an hour to prove the Earth is spinning, because it isn't, and they justify why we don't have any drift, when that's the very thing they're supposed to be proving. Like with Earth curve, they're supposed to be proving physical Earth curve horizon, not telling us how it only exists in maths, or we could never measure it.
And the cause of this supposed Earth tower is this supposed solid and non-solid in our core. Sorry, Nathan, you speaking?
There's Jazz. Go ahead, Jazz.
No, we got.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just saying that you just said maths and measure in the same sentence.
Maths and measure? Confusing. You're a bit muffled, Jazz. I can't make out what you're saying.
Oh, no, sorry. I'll give up it. I think I've got a shit mic. Is that the case?
It's very basic.
Yeah, definitely shitty mic.
More from Barry White later, I'm sure.
I'll sign out. I'll leave this to it.
Okay. Go ahead, Brian. I think he's giving up.
Thank you. The cause of the supposed rotation, is that not the supposed solid and outer non-solid core that is part of this reason for them rotating? And they only ever dug down 7.61 miles of the supposed close to 4,000 mile distance, or several thousand miles to the supposed core. So the cause of this supposed rotation is a core that's thousands of miles away, thousands of miles deeper than they ever dug down. So it's absolute total and utter nonsense.
Well,
besides the fact that there's no physical evidence of it. What?
Two things you've covered there. So any evidence of the R value? That'd be the 3959 claim to be distance to the centre of the Earth.
No evidence.
Yes. Because you can't see it.
You just can't see it, measure it. It only exists in the maths.
It's geometry, right?
Yeah, that's right, Alvin.
So what if it's impossible to measure, but you just deduce that it has to be there because you presuppose it?
Just like what's happening in the night sky doesn't tell us what shape the Earth is. Even if you dug down deeper and hit a rock of some type, that doesn't tell you what shape the Earth is either. But if you can show that curvature, if you can show, hang on, but if you could show that curvature we're all looking for, you know, they used to block boats and buildings. If you could show us that arc of a curve that would match a sphere based on R, now you would be having something there, but you're running away from all that.
Right. Because you can't see the curvature that is there. Because light bends to uncurve everything. You know, it's a conspiracy of the optics itself that causes obvious spherical nature of things you're standing on to look all flat and all that. It's logical.
Now think of what you just said there. The optical that is from light bending every time shows flat. And without it, they say it would be flat. I've never seen, even with light bending, a curve.
How do they even figure out how much light is bending? 7.6R is changing the size of the Earth, the radius of the Earth. What does that have to do with the light again?
But it's very simple. You just divide it all by R and it'll work out.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying, though?
I do.
Like, you're changing R. What does that have to do with the light?
Because straight is curved.
Oh, okay.
That's it right there. That's the mental. That's the mental illness they're dealing with. Straight is curved. See, they get there because they can't show us a curve, so they love their model so much that they have to call it curved straight.
Well, if straight is curved, then peace must also be war, and ignorance must also be strength. What
exactly.
did you say?
Yes,
yeah,
that's
exactly
correct,
how
Darwin.
they are.
I'd just like to mention that everybody needs to. I've got to phrase this correctly now. Stay together by keeping apart. In these tough times. All right, just thought I'd get that in there as we're talking about Orwellian doublespeak. Okay, right, quick shout out, and then I'll move on to the other question that Brian covered. So, shout out to Rakia Life, who says, geometry is the tool that makes balls drop all over the flat earth. Share your pain. Thank you very much indeed for the $100 super chat. Really appreciate it, Rakia Life. Thank you very much indeed. The other thing that Brian brought up was obviously the molten iron core. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the center of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Before you go there, I want to respond because is he also stating that geometry is really manly? Rakia Life? If geometry makes your balls drop?
I think he's talking about balls drop as in people's metaphorical retention of a metaphysical ball that they're holding, that they would drop upon discovering that it's not their metaphysical ball, that they're not actually holding, that they're metaphorically dropping. That's the ball he's talking about, I'm pretty sure.
I know, but hey, you can also interpret it the other way, wouldn't you say?
That would be
discovering the truth. Discovering the truth is kind of manly.
That would be a gender pronoun.
Just for
I'm
the audience's benefit, right?
There's no females in the
No, I don't think that's what he means. Geometry will not take a prepubescent boy into puberty.
Unless they discover that the Earth is not a ball, and then they are confronted.
So you're saying
the world, and they have to take a stand, and that's very manly.
You're saying geometry is so shocking that it would make a young man's balls drop. That's what he was saying. Is that what you're suggesting, Arwin?
Yes.
No. Let's
or
move on.
It turns you into a surrenderist baller that just asserts their religion all day long.
Baller. That kind of ball. It's a baller, not testicles. Anyway, can we move on? Any evidence that this is the sun?
Molten iron core, right?
No, distance to the sun. We've covered core.
Oh, right.
Unless Brian, did you?
How would you get that measurement?
To the sun? Well, they get it by assuming R, of course.
Well, you have to go there and then establish the distance, wouldn't you?
You'd have to establish that what you're looking at is actually the sun, and it's not a projection of the sun or a mirage of the sun.
Right. Well, the only way to do that is to actually approach it.
You can't approach it.
It's 93 million miles away.
It's not that it's no. That's based on R. So you can't approach it. You can't approach the sun.
Well, then you got to
go on, Flatsoid.
Light refracts.
I had lots of compressor noise.
He said light refracts.
That's right. Indeed.
What would that mean? That the sun is always behind the Earth, no matter where you are?
What the hell is the sun? Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
No.
No.
Nope.
No evidence of distance, but I want to connect that to a previous question. If the sun, we are told, is moving across the sky because we are on a spinning ball, so why is it when you get off the spinning ball, do the sun and the stars still move?
Because the Earth is not a non-inertial spinning reference frame, causing the sun to appear to drift, when it's actually the sun that is definitely moving. We're stationary. But the fact that this apparent object in the sky moves doesn't in any way imply that we are turning at astronomical speeds underneath it at some points greater than the speed of sound. That's ludicrous. Because as Chocolate's just pointed out, you could take off with a drone and the sun would stay in the same place and the drone would drift away from the operator. But that doesn't happen.
Exactly. I just realized something about terrestrial refraction. Again.
Taking a question.
Yeah, I know. Right, but if light, this is a big if question. If light would all be bending around the presupposed globe into the flat plane, well, that means that all the light that you're seeing there would also be subjected to that bending, right? Including celestial bodies. So that would mean that the sun would be approaching, basically going over the Earth is turning underneath apparently, but it would slow down a lot the further away it goes, the further towards the horizon, because geometrically it should be way down, right? So if it's the geometry of the sun path or the Earth turning underneath it is geometrically a circle, then if terrestrial refraction would bend light into a curve, you would see that from all the lights that are geometrically going around the Earth.
Hold on, they claim you do. So the sun, when you see it setting, according to the globe Earth claim, this will be hard for some people to actually wrap their head around, but it's just in line with all the other refraction bullshit they claim. It's a not actual position, right? We all accept that the sun has a not actual position, an apparent position. Well, that apparent position that you see as it sets according to the globe Earth is something like 5 minutes behind the actual position of the sun because of refraction. So what you're seeing is a hologram of the sun as it goes down, because it's already gone down. You're just seeing the light being bent through, and it's not the light. That's the other thing you missed out, Arwin. It's the atmosphere. So they're presupposing that the atmosphere, to bend the light, is wrapped around the sphere. Therefore, the atmosphere is bending the light at the rate of 7/6 hour. That's why it's called terrestrial refraction.
Damn, so they actually already accounted for that concept. But they didn't probably account for the angular speed, which should be geometrically exact. But if light is also bending, warping the whole thing visually, then there should be inconsistency in the angular speed. Because of
angular speed is going to be related to the physical size, and you don't have that in reality. But they would also get around it with the exact same thing. It's a not actual position and a not actual trajectory. So giving it or attributing an actual speed to it is how they get around that, Arwin.
No, but they can't, because the actual speed should be exact geometrically, right? There's no weird loopy motion going on out there in the supposed orbit of the Earth around the sun and all that. And the Earth spinning is supposedly consistent. So the geometry should be perfectly linear. The angular speed should be perfectly linear in the heliocentric geometric setup. But the visuals would all be bending it, causing it to not be perfectly geometrically consistent because the light bends it near the horizon. So there should be an inconsistent angular speed of the sun.
Yeah, and that's what they claim. That's exactly what they claim, Arwin.
But it isn't. The angular speed is very consistent.
I know, but that doesn't change the fact that they claim that at the horizon, when it's going down, you're seeing a hologram. That's what they claim. It's bullshit.
Yeah, but
that's
the
what they
angular
claim.
speed issue cannot be resolved with visual displacement. It's not about the position. It's about the actual, the geometrical speed, basically.
Adam.
That must be distorted as well, and it is not, because the angular speed visually remains consistent. So it's apparently not influenced by terrestrial refraction, even though it must be because all light supposedly is.
It's not terrestrial refraction in that instance, it's stellar refraction.
Arwen, you're talking about
Stellar?
ballers.
No, that doesn't work.
Yeah, it does. Well, I'm not saying it does work.
No, if the light is going to pass through the atmosphere, then it's going to be subjected by terrestrial refraction.
Hold on. No. No. Let me just explain. Arwen, come on. The reason they're separated, right, is because what are we detailing, right? We're detailing not actual size or angular size. Well, is that applicable when we're talking about curved Earth in terms of the terrestrial observations on the ground? Do they account for angular size with terrestrial refraction? No. So when you're dealing with the CERN, and you might need to mention angular sizes, you're going to need a different begging the question refraction, Arwen. Trust me.
I don't know. My thing is really a deep presuppositional nitpicky thing, but I think I'm kind of right about this.
You are right.
I've never heard them account for what I explained, even though, yeah, they have accounted a lot with their nonsense presuppositional mechanisms.
But they don't account for it, Arwen, do they? With both the sun and stars, all of those sizes and supposed sizes, at no point is refraction accounted for. If we look at Alpha Centauri, its massive size is based solely upon its apparent size and back calculated. There's no point where 7/6 or any bending, any magnification is ever applied. It's just a straightforward angular size application to give you its massive size at a massive distance.
Right. Exactly. But that's about the size, the presuppositional system of how to interpret the heavenly bodies as objects. I'm talking specifically about the motion around in the sky, then approaching the horizon. If every visual, which would include starlight or sunlight passing through the air and all that, if that all would be bending, then there should be inconsistency in the angular speed of the heavenly rotations. That's all I'm saying. It should be there because it's going through it's going through Terra. It's going through it.
We agree.
You're not allowed to take measurements below 10 degrees because they're subject to perversion within their model. So anything lower than 10 degrees above the horizon is not, even by their definition, measurable, is it?
What? Okay.
Yeah, it's applicable.
That's not my statement, that's their statement.
That's how I've tried to tell this earlier. At the horizon, it's stellar refraction, and you can't take those measurements, right? At the horizon. So when you get Neil deGrasse Tyson describing the hologram of the sun that's already disappeared in their model, that's why.
Okay. I guess they did really think about it and then encapsulate it.
Yeah.
No, but they didn't really think about it that well because Chocolate's points needs to be reiterated about when you're not on the Earth, the sun, the moon, and stars are still rotating.
You can't not be on the Earth.
I just don't understand how it works.
You can't say the same, Arwen. Who's not been not on the Earth?
Hot air balloon, drone, aeroplane,
no example
helicopter.
That's still in the Earth realm, though.
No, it's
they have that covered, though, with the atmosphere being lockstep to the Earth. That's how they cover that one.
No.
Is that yours?
They don't cover
No, that's not what they say.
One.
No. Let's just get this clear. No, that's what they say in the trenches. That's what they say here. To get around the fact that they don't have 15 degrees an hour deviation. You can't have Earth and atmosphere attached and achieve 15 degrees an hour deviation. They must be separate reference frames to have 15 degrees an hour. Now, the fact that they don't have 15 degrees an hour, which is Chocolate's point, you don't see from a drone cam the sun tracking with the drone as it drifts away from you. Seems to drift, it's actually you turning underneath the drone, according to them. It's seeming to drift away at 15 degrees an hour, according to them. But when we point out that that simply doesn't happen, and if it did, it would shorten flight times, the fundies in the trenches defend the lack of 15 degrees an hour by saying Earth and atmosphere travel as one. So they beg the question that Earth's spinning and justify the lack of proof in the form of a 15 degrees an hour deviation by saying they're tracking together. So we won't get 15 degrees an hour deviation, the very thing that's supposed to prove we spin.
No, you're 100% right. I'm just saying that's what they'll say about the chocolate, about how come when he's in an airplane, the sun and the sky is still moving. And
So
the
then,
not.
so
That's
then,
what they say.
So then, when they do that, then they're in trouble again because they're lying again, and there is no more talk about any Coriolis for a bullet or anything. So why do they still keep talking about Coriolis?
Because it's the rhetoric.
Because they have to.
It's the priest from the priesthood. We have Coriolis. That's what's declared in the actual rhetoric of a globe Earth. We have 15 degrees an hour deviation because the Earth's rotating underneath. That's the claim. When you point out that they don't have it, an example how they don't have it, they go, well, we wouldn't expect to see deviation in an aeroplane. It's travelling along with the atmosphere that's travelling along with an Earth that I assume is spinning. That's their answer. So what, no 15 degrees an hour then? Like supposed to be proving your Earth spinning? Just a quick shout out to MC Universe Sacred Truth Keeper, who says, due to war picture. I think that was part of a conversation that was long gone. But thank you for the super chat.
What I would say, going off of what Arwen was saying earlier, or something that I was thinking about when he said that was, if light is supposed to be bending around the curve of a supposed globe Earth due to the atmosphere, then how come the sun can have a terminator line to go down behind the solid horizon? The sun even should still be coming up over the horizon. The sunlight should be still coming up over, even after it's gone, we should be still seeing the sunlight. We should still be in total brightness.
Yes,
if the sun is,
yeah, it would just seem to go away in the distance, but slowly, because it should be geometrically going in a circle round, but the terrestrial refraction makes it all look flat, so it should make the sun...
Yeah, we should have a lot more daylight. Even when the sun has gone out of view, we should have a lot more daylight if the light is bending around the curve. Unless it only bends down and not back up the way. Because there's an out and up when they want there to be on their model. Do you understand what I mean?
No, none of this. I've tried this twice now. No. If you're looking at stuff in the sky, you're not applying terrestrial refraction. That's not how they do it.
But I'm speaking about the light of the sun, not the sun itself. If the sun has gone down behind the supposed solid curve, then we should still have daylight if light has been bent around that.
You're correct. You're correct. However, if this argument was ever posed, you'd be in a domain that wouldn't be applicable in terms of 7/6R. That's just not going to... It's just not going to fly if you try and pose that to a globe head. You're right. I agree. In their world, they've got light bending around the Earth. Therefore, once the light comes in, it's going to be affected by the same thing, right? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. It doesn't matter if it's sunlight or you observing a physical geometric sphere edge horizon, claim to be blocking something in the distance that's there and you shouldn't see it. Therefore, it's been bent back because the atmosphere is bent and the light's being bent at the rate of the radius that can't be measured and only exists in the maths. Well, according to their rhetoric, that should also be applicable to the light coming in from the sun. It won't be, though. So I'm just telling you how it is.
So convoluted cluster screw.
You move on.
Is it everything?
You know, it's very logical though, because they were setting out to basically prove their ball. So the whole thing is just set up of all kinds of warped excuses to just answer a question quickly and then move on to keep the presuppositional dream going. But yeah, when you all draw out the consequences of every weird little assertion that they make part of their entire structure, yeah, and you draw the natural consequences, then yeah, you constantly bump into this kind of weird, surreal situation that you just try to make excuses for why it's not the case.
That's why the black swan.
Nobody thinks about.
That's why the black swan is number one.
Yeah, none of the web of lies. None of the web of lies will ever line up. So where they've got an excuse for example, the lack of perspective, as we were detailing at the beginning of the live show with Flatsoid's videos. Thank you very much indeed to Flatsoid. I'll share that video actually in the live stream chat now. We've actually got people in there. So go and check out Flatsoid's videos, subscribe today. But the perspective aspect, the reason there's no perspective in the Earth curve maths answer from a globe head, Well, because it's a geometric model. Now, bearing in mind we've had an argument earlier about how we can't achieve geometry that don't have tangent lines. That's the current rebuttal to the black swan. But their former response to why we don't have angular size reduction over distance in the geometric maths is because it's not required in a geometric model, right? But does that line up with the not actual sizes of the sun when they're detailing them in angular size and extrapolating out astronomical distances? No, well, no, that's a separate issue, according to a fundy, because none of the stuff lines up. It's all nonsense.
Yeah, because the object never changes size, remember?
Yeah, in a geometric model. Just to give clarity to the audience what we're talking about, when you turn your world side on and show the side of your own head in orthographic view, and then draw a line, that would be a tangent, between you and a target, and claim that the target in the distance at a given feet or meters value will have a certain amount of feet or meters missing at the bottom, well, that feet and inches value does not change with distance. Doesn't matter if you're looking at the observation at 30 miles or 3 miles, they'll ask you why there's 5 feet missing or 10 feet missing, ignoring the fact that angular size, not actual size, how big it appears in the picture, changes given with the distance that you're observing it at. So it looks smaller, but they'll ask you how many feet and inches are missing, because in their model, they'll show you the side of your own head, and that removes all aspects of perspective. And the justification when we pointed that out 3 years ago was, well, it's geometric. And then we go, well, okay, then you'll definitely need a tangent to your physical sphere edge then, won't you, for your geometry? And then we're told we won't expect to be seeing the geometric horizon. That only exists in the maths. Well, what is the geometric horizon that we see in this side-on Muppet view that ignores perspective? Well, that's Earth curve. It's what they claim your horizon is.
That is kind of funny, though, right?
I have more nonsense to add.
They used to say all the time, it's geometric, it's geometric, you dumb flat earthers. Now look at them running in the other direction from their geometry. This is too funny.
Go ahead, Brian. What's the extra nonsense?
Yeah, permission just to add one more bit of nonsense. According to their nonsense, if we have a full moon, then we should have like a phenomenal amount of light on the day after the full moon. We should have like super bright light, because the light from the moon should be refracted up to us, as well as the sunlight of the daytime. So around that time, we should have a lot of crazy super light going on and no dark. Sorry.
Should be super light all the time. I thought that the original statement that it was much better. No, there should be much more supposed daylight, even though it's not even caused by the sun. It should be around because it's constantly bending around. Now, if it can shine on the moon surface, that's going to reflect back. Well, why doesn't it then constantly shine around the globe into the supposed night region? Thanks to terrestrial refraction, but that doesn't happen.
I'm sure they have an answer.
Probably not.
But light doesn't bend.
That's Owen, that's that. The point you raised there is something that Jerem smashed on a few years ago in terms of the inverse square law and lumens. And so when I get home, I'm on my way back to the airport now. But you just hit me with a bit of maths that's worth calculating. Are the lumen rates, according to the inverse square law, when they reach the Earth directly from the sun, is the reduction in the lumen rate and the inverse square reduction equivalent, so that the amount when it hits the moon and then has to travel the 250,000 miles back, are the lumen rates equivalent based on the inverse square law, or is there a differential? I think that's something that's worth maybe checking out mathematically. Because if there is a disparity between the two, why? Because the inverse square law is correct. So that leaves only the mathematics of distance to conclude incorrect if you don't get a match. Does that make sense?
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it would conclude that their model's wrong.
We just can give them some more things to deny.
Conclude that already.
Say again, Flat.
I'll look at that.
There was something I wanted you to calculate for me, actually, Adam, while we're talking about doing maths. You've done it for me once before, so hopefully you can dig out the maths for it. But I wanted to know, in a 10 to the minus Tor vacuum, what would be an area that would have literally nothing in it? What would be like you could say this given amount of area has literally got nothing in it. I'm not asking you to pluck that out your ass right this second.
Top of my head, I can do it roughly, which will be subject to ridicule by a baller, but it'll be approximately correct. I think as we did it, when you go from out into the vacuum of space as purported, you end up, and this is why the minus Tors and the magnitudes, you end up with one molecule per cubic kilometre, don't you? Somewhere around there is the bit that sticks in my head. But I will firm up the numbers, Nathan, as you move from registered atmosphere to what they call it and the differential. But it's that, and that's the point that Q always surmounts. It's not that slight movement of 1 decimal place implies a magnitude of 10 times the volume. So instead of having, as it's described in the Tor, the Tor value is 1 molecule per cubic meter, you end up having to share 1 molecule, and the figures come out with like 1/10 of a molecule per cubic meter, and it starts to get to the particle as you then expand. But I will do it now but as I remember, it's about 1 per cubic kilometre.
That's the kind of the vaguity that I wanted, though, because I do know, I remember you doing the math, so I know that your rough vague number isn't just you plucking out the air. You have actually done the maths once, you just don't have it in front of you. But yeah, I just want to give the audience some sort of qualification for what the Tor values actually mean, basically. And I think if you can dilute it, bring clarity to it with that sort of maths, that would be useful, I think, to people who just maybe not understand what is described. And as you correctly identify, each time you move to the 10 to the minus 17 Tor is so many orders of magnitude more than we can even achieve here. But what does that mean to an audience member? Not a great deal for a lot of them. But if you can qualify it, hopefully, not now, but we already have vaguely, but you know what I mean? Just so we can go maybe do a show on it and just say, this is what we mean when we talk about vacuums, because there is some confusion about it.
Yeah, no worries. I've got it in the notebook, mate, along with the impossibilities of the first law of thermodynamics when you go up in a helicopter and you keep the same tangential speed even though you're increasing your radius. It's in those figures of funny maths that I collect. So yeah, as soon as I get back, mate, I'll send you that, because I have done the calculation, and like I said, the odd bit is you end up trying to dilute molecules, for it to make any sense. You've got 1/10 of a molecule, 1,000th of a molecule in the same space. So with regards to the Tors, you end up having to magnify or change the way in which you describe the units, because up until that point you describe it as number of molecules per cubic meter. But once you then get into space, as we would define, or they would define it, you end up not being able to use meters cubed, or you're not able to use molecules, because neither are sensical anymore. So you end up having to change the units because of the 10 to the minus 15 to 10 to the minus 16. That's such a magnitudinal change. You end up having to change some of the units. So if you want to keep it as molecules, you have to change from meters cubed to kilometers cubed, or 100 meters cubed in this case. So yeah, I'll get you that, mate.
Thank you. And with that, I'll say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley or Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you're watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. And a massive thank you to today's Discord and G+ Live panels for making today's shows possible. Be sure to stay tuned if you are watching on a premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!